Hey YouTube. So part 2 of the paper mache experiment. I've ended up putting a couple of coats of just the water glue mixture on top of this. Looks a lot glossier than it did. I think I need to give it a quick sand, so why don't I show you guys the amazing mechanical sander here. It's a Black & Decker mouse sander. You can find these for like $40–50 just at Home Depot or Rona or Lowe's, one of those stores. So let's see what happens. I just want to give it a really light sand. Don't think doing it by hand is what I want to do, but yeah, that's going to take too long. So I'm going to try using this and we'll see what happens. It's going to be a bit loud. Just deal with it. Well, I don't want to risk over sanding it. Just give it a quick brush off to get any of that dust off. Not that there was a lot. I was using a pretty fine sandpaper, so hopefully it wasn't too rough. Now my other concern is I do kind of want kind of crisper lines, oops, here. Apparently I can just break some of that. And I think what I might do for that, if I can find my tools, here we go. I'm going to take a file and just see if I can put a bit of a line where I want that. As expected, it's cutting right through the newsprint, but it's kind of what the idea was. Keep in mind, I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get something that works and that I'm happy with. Speaking of which, the surface is better. It could be more rigid, but I'm getting to the point where I think I just want to get this done. When I make a Mark II suit, then I'll start worrying about doing everything amazing. Oops. Well, that really kind of cut through. Well, you know what they say, be careful what you wish for. But I'm committed now. Maybe just a quick sand too. Still have the sneaking suspicion that the plastic resin is the way to go. I figure for the rest of the sort of differentiation, all I'm going to worry about is painting it the way that I want it to look, because this is going to be a different color than this, so that'll kind of give the line that I want. And I think I'm kind of running out of excuses now. It's going to be time to actually try and paint this. I'll admit I'm a bit nervous because that's going to be basically where I find out if things have gone horribly wrong. What I'll probably do is like a test spray so you guys can see. In fact, why don't we do a little jump and I will try and put a little bit of paint on and we can see what happens together. So I'll see you in a second. And we're back. So I've got my can of spray paint. Seems to be in working order. I'm not going to spray a lot. Ventilation isn't the greatest here. I just kind of really want to see what happens when I put some paint on it. I think the surface is clean enough. So let's give it a couple sprays and see what happens. Of course, the key is don't put too much on at once. You can always do extra coats, but if you put too much on at once, it's going to sag and drip and all in all not be good. So I'm going to have to put a couple more coats on after this dries. As you can see the newsprint easily through it. Some of the spots where I went a little too heavy, I think. It looks like, yeah, I'll be able to cover it up. Just trying to see if there's going to be a bunch of lines visible, but at this point I can't really tell. So I'll let this dry off, and then I'll show you what happens if I put on a couple more coats. Alright, I think we're dry enough for coat number 2. I'm not really worrying about that side so much because I'll end up flipping it around. I just kind of want to see how this section ends up looking. Alright, and I'm going to leave this to dry again. Looks like it's probably going to take like 4 coats, maybe 5. I probably could have put some sort of primer on it, would have made it a bit easier, but I know that for next time. Alright, looks like it's time for coat number 3, in places at least. I don't know if I need to shake the can, I just do that every time before I use it. I gotta say that I am slightly concerned. It looks like I'm going to be able to see the strips through the paint, but I think it's going to take one more coat before I'm positive. And then maybe what I'll try doing is just sanding it a little bit and putting on another coat. We will find out if this was all a waste of time soon. Alright, time for coat number 4. I'll admit, I'm not so sure this is going to work out how I hoped it would, but I'm thinking I probably should have sanded the paper mache a lot more, because I can see all of the lines there, and that's not what I'm looking for. So I think I'm going to deal with this another day. I will probably try just sanding the crap out of it to see if I can make it much smoother, because I definitely don't want those lines showing up. So yeah, lesson learned. I rushed things, I wanted to paint it too soon. It felt smooth, but I can see that it is definitely not smooth. So yes, that's what I will do. And yeah, tomorrow is another day.